Morning. Rise and shine. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another dollar. Come on in here. Come on in here. We got some things to talk about. Come on in here. President Trump says, I got time today because come on in here. Come on in here. Come on in here. We gonna talk what they say. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Listen, y'all, I'm gonna try to do better with focus. Listen, stand focused, looking straight. So I may not be looking at the camera as much as I normally do for the sake of people's nerves and my life and other people's life. Good morning. Good morning. Listen, y'all. Listen. Listen, Linda. Listen. Y'all. It be so much going on. Let me tell y'all what my evenings be looking like. Y'all want to know the behind the scenes of the prep for these lives? I go on the internet and I see who the hell else our president and pissed off. And then it kind of goes up from there, you know? It really goes up from there. Like, and it's just, and so then, so I figure out, guess who the hell who he done pissed off, why, and to what level. And then I try to narrow it down to a topic. And then the fun part is creating a title because y'all, it's so much. It's so much. It's so much. But last night I seen some shorts or some TikToks because people been reacting to them of people wilding because child they can't get them hot Cheetos. They can't get the hot Cheetos no more with the Pepsi. I don't know. Somehow I guess that combo, the hot Cheetos with the Pepsi. And they like, what a day, what you mean? What you mean? What did you, this is the breakfast for champs. This is the breakfast for champs. What do you mean? So I'm like, well, what do they mean? What is going on? What's going on? What's going on? Why isn't the card swiping like it used to swipe? Is it not swiping anymore? Like what's going on? So then I learned that. So y'all know was that what's his name? John JFK? One of them Kennedys. Y'all know it's a million of them. The one with the raspy voice and the tan. Because I don't know if his skin color naturally looked like that, but you know, he kind of got this little brown looking situation going on or whatever. He ain't Trump color. But he like, I guess he done got sworn in, so he like, hell, it took long enough. So I'm ready to check some things off this agenda. I'm ready. I'm ready to check some things off this agenda. And we finna start with these damn hot Cheetos and Coca-Colas for breakfast for these babies. He was like, we gonna start there. We're starting there. America is fat. America is fat. Now I don't know if he said America is fat, but y'all, y'all know how I do. I'm finna damn translate. Y'all finna get my version because anytime you want to cut into or remove bad foods, junk foods, it's centered around like health. Wait, remember when Michelle Obama was in the White House and she had that whole movement for good morning, virtuous woman. Good morning. Hopefully you don't have to work as hard as you did yesterday, child. I heard about it. May the good Lord be with you. You a solid one. You doing God's work, virtuous woman. You're doing God's work. Good morning, y'all. Hit the like button as you come on in. But y'all remember when Michelle Obama did the campaign with the food and kids exercising and stuff like that? Because it was like, let's just talk about it. They like, shit, these kids fat. Y'all know the kids today that they weighing different than what we weighed. Y'all know for a long time, y'all, some of y'all women, think about like when y'all was in like high school. So I'm talking to my ladies that are like my age. So y'all are 80s babies. 80s babies, 60s babies. Think about like what your body was looking like when you was like 15. Think about that waistline. Like let's have a flashback. Think about them got with that. Which we was wearing back. Well, I'm not me before. Which I was wearing gachos back in the '60s. What was y'all wearing? Them bell bottoms. I seen the pictures. You had them. The black girls had the afro. You had the snatched waist. Them fitted jeans. Y'all know them cute little shapes. Them cute shapes. Them shapes that didn't look like you had 4, 5 kids already, because y'all know as quiet as it kept, a lot of these teenagers today, they bodies looking like they done already had kids. We gonna talk about it, y'all know. And what they say, it's in the food, it's in the food. Like these kids be thick with it. I'm from California, so I moved to Georgia in '96. And when I came to Georgia, I was about 15, and I knew I was going into like the 10th grade. So, child, I was smaller. Me and my sisters, we were smaller than all our peers. Like our peers were like looking like my mama. My mom was like a size like 8, and me and my sisters were like 3, like a size like 3. Like we were really small. And that's when I took notice of how the food varies across like the regions, like how the people eat the diet. Because in California, if any of you are familiar in California, some of you on here might be from California, the food, the culture centered around food is very different. It's very different. It's not centered around soul food. We have soul food restaurants, but it's not a lot of them. It's not what you think of when you think of California. When you think of California, you're thinking about like Mexican food, or nowadays, probably in like San Diego. I just got back from visiting San Diego last weekend. Like you're thinking about maybe like healthy, maybe vegan, like healthy type food. Like it's just different. So because food and the way people view food is kind of different over there, you see a change and a difference with the bodies, with how the bodies look. And so when I came to Georgia, my body and my sister's body, even my mom's body, compared to her peers as a grown woman in her 30s at the time, like she was smaller than her peers. Like I said, she was like a size 8. My sisters and I, we were like size 3s. We were super small, but our bodies in California during that time did not stand out. That was like the normal body type of just a teenage girl at that time. But when we came to the South, not so much. We were super ultra small compared to our peers. And then kind of from there, I started to kind of just take notice of it more and more as the years went on, that people in the South, the body shapes, it's different, but it's heavily because of the food. Like, yo, like if you're living a life centered around like eating and cooking and that soul food, the collard greens, the mac and cheese, the mashed potatoes and gravy, the meatloaf, the turkey and gravy, the ham. Child, yeah, when I say honey baked ham changed my life, we didn't have honey baked ham when I left California in '96. That wasn't a thing. That was not a thing. That we Hams was made at home, and hams was something made on holidays only. Like it wasn't like on Sundays we eating a ham. Like that's just not how it was. It wasn't no get together, everybody have Sunday dinner. So holiday food was dressing, turkey, the mac and cheese, the greens, like holiday food. So for someone like me, I was eating that for Thanksgiving, maybe like 3 times out of a year tops. So if you're only eating foods like that 3 times out of a year, it's going to show on your body. Your body is going to be smaller because you're not taking in all of that, those fattening foods like that on a regular. Versus in the South, that's Wednesday. What y'all having on Wednesday? Collard greens, um, smothered turkey legs. What is a turkey? Child, when me and my husband went to Disney World and I seen that part of the food stand consisted of a turkey leg, not a corn dog, y'all. Let's see. I come from a place where you at the fair, you at wherever, the carnival, whatever, you getting a corn dog. You getting a corn dog. What is this with a turkey leg? That turkey that turkey leg was big as hell, and people walking around with a whole turkey leg around the amusement park. Me and my husband was shook because he also comes from California. So we kind of, we got that the same, we come from the same cultural background as far as when it comes to a lot of these things. But I'm like, who the hell walking around with a damn turkey leg? Y'all, I'm at the traffic light now so I can look at y'all. Y'all, that turkey leg was about this damn long and people walking around like it's cotton candy. And that was just the craziest thing to us when we went to, I think we saw that at Disney World. We just wasn't ready. So again, when we talk about like these weight problems and how people are looking, how these babies looking, how these kids looking, this is what I'm talking about. They walking around with turkey legs. They going to the bus stop with a turkey leg. We weren't going to the bus stop with a backpack and a turkey leg in California. Like it just wasn't going down like that. I promise you it wasn't. But here is real different here in the South to where things are centered around food. So when things are centered around food, guess what? You start looking like your life is centered around food. Like you looking like this is just what your priority is. Anybody at any point in my life has been able to look at me and see and is able to see that food is not on the top of her list like that. It's not. And so because of that, it has had an impact on how I've been able to maintain a healthy weight pretty much all my life. Childhood as well as, adulthood, having 3 children, because of my eating habits. I never adopted a culture of having to eat certain types of foods because this is just what they do. This is what I was raised on. So now back to this whole food stamp EBT. A lot of times when people are shopping and and they're going grocery shopping and filling their carts up with all these foods and stuff that they're not having to pay for with cash, they're getting all kinds of junk food snacks. Like I've seen it. I've never been someone who's been able to, collect food stamps, just because I just financially just was never in that situation to qualify for it, to be honest, because I ain't gonna even say not needed. Hell, I didn't qualify for it. But I've seen people and I know people just in my adult life and even when growing up who use food stamps. Y'all remember the food stamps back in the day when it was paper, when you tore it out the little booklet? Y'all remember that? And they were color coded. They were color coded. I think you had brown, you had blue, you might have had green. They probably was color coded because I was a kid, so I'm thinking it was color coded by the bill that it was. So like the blue bill was maybe like the $20. You know what I'm saying? Then you had the brown bill that might was the $1. Y'all remember that back when it was paper and you had a little booklet that you had to tear the money out of? I remember that. I remember as a kid and family members said, hey, go to the store, go buy this, and they tearing out like the little book, the little food stamp out of the booklet to send you to go to the store to go make a purchase. Like I remember that as a kid. Today, someone brought up a good point and I'm like, wow, like they were like, given that you got a lot of people, especially people like just say within the Black community, that just are in poverty. How often you all today do we see, or not even just today, but then as in recent years, probably the last 15 years, maybe going to 20 years, where we seen someone who was in a financial situation and who was considered poor to be overweight? Like, y'all, you are not seeing no doggone skinny poor people these days. The ones that's hollering they poor, they ain't got no money, they be like real big and overweight. Like, check out my 600-pound life. Y'all, what percentage of them people y'all think qualifying for EBT? Because whenever I have seen any of them episodes, none of them have ever given affluent lifestyle. They literally be in these one room, maybe two room type unit situations, but giving struggle all day giving struggle. But there is money, funds, resources for some poor trash food. It is. So, as I was, researching what's the latest on the Trump hate train last night, I saw that, there were people who have the sentiments of, listen, if working people, taxpayers, are paying into this system to provide money and resources to people who are in need, to help put food on the table for children, then I feel like it should be food of substance. So I'm like, okay. Like, I feel like, okay, if I'm going to be helping, this is what I'm, reading and seeing, that what some people are saying when they think about their contributions to society and helping the next person. They're saying, hey, I want to know that I'm helping a child be nourished and have the proper nutrients and things like that. Because a lot of these people, and kids in particular, they're eating these foods that have a lot of empty calories and hot Cheetos, for example, things that don't really have no substance. They're consuming it. And some of these children, a lot of this junk food that they're consuming is sticking to them, and it's causing for them to have weight problems. And, in my research last night, I learned about heart disease being like the number one killer of people in America. And heart disease is heavily contribute to poor diet. So if that is the case, and it's contribute to poor diet, and as I said, a lot of people who are in poverty, they're overweight. Like I said, go back to that show, My 600-Pound Life. Those people, you can look and see, these are impoverished people. These people don't have a lot of resources. You can just tell what they say, read the room. You can read the room and see that these people ain't got money like that. They be struggling trying to go. What's the Mr. Now? Is that his name? The one that get them all the way together when they go see him and he see they only lost 5 pounds since they last visit. Mr. Now, they be struggling trying to get to Mr. Now, because a lot of it be centered around resources, being able to get there. And these aren't people that you can just go throw on a doggone spirit flight. They ain't got them kind of bodies that you can just, throw on a spirit plane. I'm just, listen, it is what it is. They got to get in some some van, some big body vehicle, to be transported to what he Mr. Now in Texas. So it's a process, but a lot of times, they talk through, with the resources, having somebody available to be able to take them. So what I've come to see is that today it's like a lot of people who have weight problems, they're in poverty. They live in poverty. They live in poverty. So, and a lot of them say, well, hey, well, the reason why I buy this food or I eat this way is because I can't afford the healthy stuff, because the healthy stuff costs more money. How many of y'all subscribe to that? That healthy food costs more than the junk food. So one lady was like, if you got kids and you got X amount of food stamps, and most of the time the food stamps don't be enough to get you through the full month, you gotta try to make a dollar out of 15 cents. Meaning you gotta try to make that loaf of bread stretch, that pack of hot dogs stretch. So families are purchasing food that maybe, based on like the quantity, not really the quality, because they're trying to get it to stretch. So I get it, but at the same time, as time has been going on, and it just seems like our nation has been moving into more in it's we've been going down this wave of being more health conscious about things for the last probably like I'd say 10 years. So I've been hearing about all these different types of like diets and meals and things like that, you know, cost effective things that you can do as far as with things to prepare for the like there are things to be meals to be made that are healthier than hot dogs, burgers, and pizzas. But it's going to require for the adult to step out of their comfort zone, meaning that they're going to have to be willing to learn how to prepare these meals, learn the recipes for these meals, and just make it do what it do. And naturally, your children eat like how their parents eat. I just know that just from experience, just being a parent. Like my kids, raising them, growing up. If it wasn't something, and if I didn't eat it, okay, I ain't picking that up. I'm not picking it up in the store. So I found myself doing that. So I see how easy it is for someone to only shop based off of like what their likes are. So therefore, the children haven't been exposed to a lot of other different things that might even be healthier that they may like because it just wasn't bought. I know like I've been guilty of that before where it took like later in life for my kids to maybe experience eating certain things because I didn't buy it because I didn't eat it. So maybe they experienced it with like, some other family members or things like that, and then they learn like, oh wow, I like this. But it be like that. And so a lot of this when it comes to our children and the weight problems that they have is rooted in what the parents are doing or the caretakers are doing in the home. Like what example are they setting? And what I've noticed over the years is that typically fat parents have fat kids. It is what it is. What they call the F word. Listen, it's fat. The word is fat. If you can say skinny, you can say fat. You got skinny people who ain't really feeling the idea of being skinny. They want to be bigger. So just like you got fat people who ain't feeling the idea of being fat, they want to be smaller. So it is what it is. You got fat people, you got skinny people. And you got people who don't like their bodies, but you got people who aren't willing to put in the work to make those changes as well. So they come up with all kinds of reasons and excuses as to justify why they're getting the results that they are getting. So the Kennedy, John, what is JF Kennedy, JFK? He said, I'm gonna help you with that. I'm gonna help you with that. I'm gonna go ahead and limit what you can buy on this EBT card slash food stamps. I'm gonna help you with that. I'm gonna tell you what you can't buy, so therefore, by default, you can buy everything else. How about that? How about that? I'm curious. What I would love to see is if now, mind you, this has just been kind of proposed and put on the table. It hasn't been approved. Not from what I came to see last night. It's just kind of something that's been thrown out there. Y'all can let me know in the comments if anything has been approved. But what I would be curious to see is if these changes would impact how the American people start to look as far as with their bodies, their weights. Like, so, like, because you got a lot of people who are getting food stamps, EBT, and all of that. I would like to see if with these changes, with how you can spend these government resources, if we will see a change with the health system as far as with, let's just start there with heart disease. If we'll see a change with obesity, if we'll have fewer people, fewer adults, fewer children that are overweight because of the limitations when it comes to buying the types of products you can buy using the EBT card. So I'm not mad at that idea. because we do got a whole problem with weight with our country. Like it ain't no secret. Everybody know American people are fat. Like it is what it is. And I do think it also has a lot to do with what's inside of our foods, the ingredients. And which another, another task that JFK wants to try to correct is like the ingredients that are in our foods, ingredients that are in our foods that aren't in these same types of foods in other countries. It's like, okay, we have to get all the crazy bad stuff, poison stuff, like the stuff that make you say, what the hell is that? We got to get all of that in our cereal. But in another country, their ingredient list is a short list, a few things. So it's just like, okay, well, why are their ingredients different from our ingredients? So I think that definitely deserves to be explored. And I think just with the correction, even in that area, that we should see a change just within the body type, the body size of just the American people, as well as just the quality of just the health, the length of time that people are living. To me, it's just common sense. It's a no-brainer. It makes sense. How do you argue with someone who wants to regulate what kind of ingredients that are in your children's food, your food? Let's role play. What do you mean, JFK? We can't have you said we can't have this product on the shelf because it got dioxide. And what do you mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, so we have to use common sense, discernment when it comes to these things. And he's saying, listen, it doesn't make sense to have all these chemicals in these foods like that. Why? It When the product originally came out, it wasn't in it. So like, what is the need for it to be in the ingredients today? Like, talk to me. What is it? There is no need. There is no need. Only thing that makes sense to me as to why it would be done is for population control, because otherwise it makes no sense to be putting all this type of unhealthy things into our foods, these dyes, like just all craziness in our foods when it serves no purpose, no positive benefits to us. It just shortens our lifespans. So, children, going back to weight, when you are overweight, it's going to shorten your lifespan. I heard somebody say, you ain't seen nobody who living to 99, 100 who's overweight, obese. You're not seeing that. I like to listen to, like, sometimes you all on the news, they'll acknowledge somebody who's celebrating a birthday who's like over 100 or something like that, because that's not like the norm. And they'll ask them, what's the secret to, you living this long lifestyle? And then they'll often say, they'll credit it back to their diet, not drinking, not smoking, just keeping it simple, just basic stuff that they keep it at, eating fresh fruits and vegetables, getting adequate amount of sleep. It don't be that deep. It really don't be that deep. But it's one of those things to where when you know the secret and you implement those practices, that's when you too can start winning. That's when you can start winning. So a lot of these people out here are winning because they know the secret, they know the formula, the recipe for success, the breakfast for champs. And as I get older, those are things that I pay attention to more, as far as with listening to people who have the results that I desire, whether that's health wise, financial, um, literacy, like anything, you pay attention to and you see, how are these people moving? How are these people moving? So JFK, like, listen, I'm gonna help y'all out because y'all struggling out here. Fat parents, fat kids, fat people. We struggling as a nation, so I'm gonna help y'all out. So we finna go ahead and try to put some put some order into this situation, and I'm here for it because it makes sense. If it's going to keep someone around longer, have allow us to have one less person with heart disease, one less person struggling with obesity, then I'm here for it. Then we won't need all these people who own Wegovy and all these fat pill products and shots and stuff, Ozempic and all of that. There will be no need for all of that. And I hear that stuff costs because insurance is not trying to cover no Ozempic. You sis, bruh, you paying for that out of pocket. Unless it's you're taking that those products specifically for diabetes, which is what they were specifically designed for. Most from what I've heard, the insurance is not trying to cover it if for something for like the weight loss. You're kind of you paying for that yourself. So I mean, I don't know. We just got to move smarter, keep money in our pockets. Trump, he trying to do these audits, trying to see where the money is going. I heard someone this morning talking about that. Um, what's on the table is that these monies that are being found uh, with the spending that's been the irresponsible spending, the money that's going out of our country, um, we may actually get refunded that money through a tax refund, not a stimulus, but a tax refund. So with someone who I was listening to, they were kind of, going over some past talking points from a year ago that President Trump had said about, the frivolous spending and things like that of our nation underneath the Biden administration, and that there may indeed be money owed back to the American people. So this content creator, I was listening to was talking about the idea of the American people getting a refund check for monies that are owed to us as a result of these monies that were spent going out against our will, like that we weren't aware of, that was not approved. So I found that to be quite interesting. It would be nice, but we'll see. It sounds nice, and I think that as a collective, the people would appreciate that. Even those who aren't on the Trump bandwagon, I mean, how do you not appreciate getting a check for monies that are owed to you? I don't know how you argue. I don't know how you argue with that. So that's something that's out there. So keep that in mind. Keep that in your back pocket. Um, as time go on, he's still continuing to cut jobs, federal jobs. It's definitely been sad as I've been watching that happen. Uh, it's been very sad because I know what it is to be laid off. It's happened to me a couple of times, and it's just sad. So I just hope that these people can land on their feet, find other paying other jobs that will pay comparable salaries that will have them to still continue to maintain their current lifestyle. But in reality, I know that is not going to be the case for many, many people. I know it's not going to be the case. Many people are going to be accepting new positions at lower pay because some people feel like a lot of these workers, as I was researching last night, a lot of these workers were just working these government jobs and not really doing the work, not really earning this pay. There was one lady I came across her, a video. I don't know if it was like a TikTok, a little video, and she was a government worker, and she talked about a lot of employees who worked from home, who were federal employees who worked from home. They didn't do anything. They would just be doing other stuff. They wouldn't be signed on to team job. Child. She was just straight dry snitching. She said they was not signed on teams. She was saying you couldn't reach them if you needed them. She said it was like the 80-20 rule. In government, only 20% of the people did the work, and the other 80% did absolutely nothing. She was like, in the office, when you go into the office, you would see, like, she would go in the office and she would have a colleague. When she would go in, he'd be straight sleeping every day, snoring. Uh, People not answering their phones. She just was like, she was here for a lot of people losing their jobs, because she was like, from what she's seen, people really weren't doing the work for these jobs. Now, I think with just about almost any industry, You're going to have your slackers. You're going to have your people who not carrying their weight. But of course, it's not going to be all. And do I want to believe that it's majority of federal workers? No, I don't want to believe that it's majority of federal workers because that's going to say majority, that majority of people are lazy. I don't believe that. But I believe it's, you got a good number of them. So, you know, listen, word on the curb is a lot of people wasn't doing their job properly. So them losing their job, it ain't no sleep lost for them. I'm like, okay, so that's that on that. Keep your head up, y'all. Keep your head up. So, another thing I saw last night was this whole Gulf of America thing. So, what Trump has banned the AP. The AP was that's a journalist organization from coming to the White House because they are bucking the system and do not want to refer to what was formerly Gulf of Mexico to the new Gulf of America. So I saw that the president of Mexico has filed a lawsuit against Google for going and for changing the map. So when you go, because after, when I saw all that, when I was in YouTube and I was seeing like these videos about the whole Gulf of America, the name change, I was like, well, let me go to Google and just look at this map and see, what the deal is. And when I went there, it had the name change over to the Gulf of America. And so the president, y'all know, of Mexico, I don't know her name. It's a female president, a woman president. She said that if Google, she's giving them a certain amount of time, child, to change that. She was like, y'all need to fix that. Y'all need to put it back, because there was nothing wrong with it. Y'all need to fix that. If you do not fix this, I will be filing a lawsuit against you. So Trump's like, listen, it's the Gulf of America. It needs to be changed on the internet. So Google changed it. I think the president of Mexico was like, okay, well, what y'all need to have it as Gulf of America for people in the US, for y'all search. I don't know, when y'all do the search or whatever, it comes up that way. But for us, we better continue to see Gulf of Mexico. So really, when you look at it on the map, it covers like both, like the Mexico plus like America. So it can kind of go both ways as far as the naming parameter of what you would want to call it, because of like where it lies. It's like in the middle. So my thing is, I don't see anything wrong with Trump wanting to change the name. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. But if the president of Mexico is like, listen, well, over when we do the search over here, we need to be able to say, I don't know how the algorithm or how you supposed to do all that. When they do the search, they supposed to see it come up as Gulf of Mexico, and when we do the search, we supposed to see it come up as Gulf of America. I don't know the technicality behind how you make that work, but sis was like, listen, you need to figure it out. But I know one thing. I better not wake up tomorrow and type in Gulf of Mexico and it's coming up as Gulf of America. I know that. I know that. So I'm like, oh, MG, like, it's just the craziest things that I just feel like everything is up for debate. Everybody's fighting over everything. And it's just for the sake of argument, it just seems like everything is a fight. Oh, I saw Trump signed some new executive orders yesterday, and the one that stood out to me was the one centered around the IVF, because child, when y'all know that, some of y'all may not know, but IVF a lot of times is not something, a resource, that stands for in vitro fertilization. So IVF is used when a woman is unable to get pregnant the conventional way. And so, unable or chooses to not get pregnant that way. And she said, listen, y'all, at the lab, I'm going to let y'all do what y'all do. Y'all let me know when it's time to insert the embryo into me. So they merging the egg and the sperm together. So most of the time, a lot of times, companies do not offer that resource as a benefit that they pay for. I've been seeing that. I know the company I'm with now, like I've seen that they offer a benefit or resource for that. But other companies that I've worked for did not pay for that type of resource. So Trump is saying, "Hey, there are a lot of people who struggle with conceiving, getting pregnant. So we need to make this a more affordable resource. Let's make this a more affordable resource. Let's explore the different programs and things out there that we can lean into, hone into to make it more efficient, less stress free for those families who want to have children and who aren't able to do it the conventional way. So they need to rely on just the science in the lab." So I thought that was cool because a lot of people, like, they talk about like how that resource is so expensive to where if they are unable to get pregnant, the conventional way, they they just can't have a baby. They they SOL. They just say, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. So I thought that was cool where he's like, listen, for those of you who are on this Tasha K, I ain't got it. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna offer, make this resource affordable. So I don't know what affordable looks like. I think he's trying to incorporate it pretty much kind of more so embedded into like the benefits that you have, like your normal like medical benefits that you have on your job. So you might just probably pay a copay or meet your deductible, just like any other type of medical service that you may have utilizing your benefits. So that was my interpretation on that. So I'm like, okay. He had a couple of other things. It was like three things that he did executive orders for, but that was the one that kind of stood out to me. That I'm like, okay, I felt like a lot of people would appreciate that because it's putting money that's something that would impact the pockets of the American people because the American, the couple who cannot conceive, the natural way, they now have another resource that's not going to break the bank, that they're not going to have to probably go out and take a loan out for. So I thought that was cool. I was definitely here for that. And I think right now with everything going on with these job cuts, I was here for just seeing President Trump do something that wasn't going to just have the people pissed off because he's done a lot of that lately. So I was like, okay, finally, that here's something that, we can celebrate, that, people can be like, okay, because how do you argue with that? How do you argue with that? So I thought that was good. So I was definitely here for that. Did y'all see the video, the rap video that Roseanne Barr did? I just saw it. It probably came out a couple of weeks ago. I didn't see it. I didn't even know she did it with some rapper, white guy in Canada. I'd never seen him. He had blonde hair, but Roseanne Barr looked like she had some blonde box braids, child, and she was rapping, and she was just, in the rap was centered around her being a Trump supporter. And in her lyrics, she talked about when she got canceled for, when she had made, I guess, the comment. Remember years ago, I think during the Obama administration, there was a woman in his administration that she had made a comment about. I don't know if she tweeted it, and I have forgotten all about it. Y'all remember when Roseanne Barr pissed people off with a comment she made about this woman in the Obama administration, and people called her a racist for it. If I'm reflecting back, I think I think she referred to the woman. I don't know if she said the woman looked like a monkey or an ape or something. I don't know. I'm trying to reflect because it was so long ago. But she kind of got canceled because remember they had rebooted the show, her show, the Roseanne show, and then right that was that was around what, like right around that time. I think they talked about around 2018 or something. So right around that time, her show had got rebooted. So she made that comment, and then the show kind of got canceled, and then they brought it back, but then they brought it back without her. So everybody else, the other original cast members were on there. It was just except for her. And I don't think that really panned out, worked out too well because like it's the Roseanne. I think they called it. They ended up calling it the Connors or something like that. I don't know when they brought it back. They called it the Connors, but she wasn't on it. But it was because she got canceled or whatever. But yeah, so y'all look that up. It's a rap song. It's a rap song that she did with some rapper in Canada, and she has blonde box braids. They like bleach blonde hair. They're braids, and she just rapping out. I don't know. She thinks she the white Nicki Minaj. I don't know. Cardi B. I don't know. But I was just like, okay. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it. So y'all definitely definitely look into that to see, what Roseanne was talking about. But yeah, she just, kind of talked about being canceled. And she equated to a lot of the reasons of with her being canceled centered around her refusal to take the jab. So apparently she was one of the people, I guess, who made it, um, who I guess wasn't quiet about not wanting to take the jab during, that time when it was like this big thing on you either take it or you basically lose it all because from what 2020 through probably 2022, I would say almost like online on the line centered around the jabs. And people were either getting fired or they were walking away, resigning because they were refusing to take the jab. And then you got some people who did take the jab and uh, they sit in regret for taking the jab, or they feel like they were forced to take the jab and all of that. So it was just this big thing. So fast forward to today, 2025, we live in these times where it's just completely optional, uh, the way I feel like it should have always been. But finally we are at least there. We've been here for a little while, probably for about 3 years, probably going on, where it's been optional on whether or not if you want to take the jab or not, because everybody don't believe in vaccinations. I think it's a personal choice and it's not something that should be forced on anyone. Um, Another thing that I saw more of last night was the PPP loans. So yesterday on my live, I touched on PPP loans, that being a thing. So check this out. It was this woman. She said that she had went to her local Chase Bank to take care of business as usual. And when she went there, she's like, she normally likes this particular branch because it's always quiet, it's not a lot going on. But on this particular day, when she went, she said it was like chaotic there. It was just like like a lot going on. So she asked, her financial advisor, like, yo, what's the deal? Like, what's all of this going on? And he was like, oh, the feds are here. And she's like, what? He was like, yeah, the feds are here. They basically subpoenaed the JP Morgan to have their bank records be reviewed to look at the bank holders' checking accounts. So the purpose of looking at the checking accounts was to see who received PPP loan deposits and to see where monies were being spent. So people who did receive deposits, uh, the feds at this particular Chase Bank, they were all up in the business trying to learn what type of things were people paying this money towards. I guess they would be able to see, like, oh, okay, if a person got a PPP loan, do we see that they were paying out payroll? Because from my understanding, with the PPP loan, it was supposed to be centered strictly around you collecting this money for the purpose of payroll for your staff, for your employees. And so they're looking to see if people were actually paying out money to employees. And how many people you all know that got businesses? Because I want to say they was like most of the business, at least by Black women who are entrepreneurs, like they don't have staff. It's just like a solo operated business. So a lot of people, have a business, but they don't have staff. So with the PPP loan, the purpose of the PPP loan was to provide payroll, allow for these business owners to be able to make payroll for their staff. So the financial advisor proceeds to tell this woman that, yeah, the reason why they're really taking a look at these people's accounts is because there is a shortage in the labor force with free labor when it comes to a lot of things like the work that people in like the jails and the prison systems do. They said they need more workers. Now, mind you, listen, this is a conversation. This is what the financial advisor at the Chase Bank was telling her, centered around the feds being at that branch. He said that there is a limit on the free work, the free labor. There's things that task and that aren't getting done, and they need people to do it for free. So the best way that they feel like to identify them workers is to find people who have broken the law. Let's start with the PPP. So that's when they start looking at all these people who got the PPP loan to see if they can run up some charges against them to get them in that system, in that penal system I be talking about. So therefore, they can partake in this plan to get free labor. Crazy, yo, crazy. So this guy I was listening to this guy who he's walking around with an ankle monitor. I talked about him a little bit yesterday. So I listened to his story. So he's walking around with an ankle monitor on. He got picked up. He went to jail. He was kind of confused on why he got picked up. While he was in the jail cell, one of the people in the holding cell told him, "Oh, they picked you up for the PPP." He was like, because there's already been at least 50 people who have already come through this jail for that very reason. So that's why they picked you up. So this guy, he had got about, I think, $22,000 in PPP loan money. He said he ain't got the money no more. He got like a $10,000 watch that he wear that he said he'll sell. But the attorney's like, yo, pay back the money and that'll probably cut your time in half or whatever. But he ain't got the money. Look, again, on Natasha K, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. So he's at home with this ankle monitor that he's saying tight as hell around his ankle, and he said the monitor, it through the ankle monitor, it someone can talk to him through it. It tracks his every move. It's highly sensitive. So anything like he say and do, like the monitor picks it up. He was like they can actually talk to him through the ankle monitor. Can y'all imagine that? Like a voice coming through the anchor monitor talking about, where you going, player? Where you going? Where you going, player? Where are you going? Because he's tied to the house. He can't even leave the house to go to work. And he said his court date isn't until, he might have said July. It's sometime a ways out that when his court date. So until then, he's stuck at the house with the ankle monitor on. Also learned that there is a list out there. There is a PPP warrant list. And I seen people doing videos in their feelings about seeing their name on the list. So I was up last night trying to find the list I'm aware of a website that you can go to just type in names to see who got a loan, but there's apparently a warrant list out there where you can see if your name is on it. So I was seeing different people react to that because their name's been on the list. One young lady, she had taken some money through, I think, what did she do? She collected some money, child, about 5 years ago. And them folks then rolled up to her door in present time to arrest her. And it was like 5 years ago. So I'm saying all this to say is that there is no like time limit on it, like where, okay, I did it in 2020. I'm good. We in 2025. No, it's levels to this thing. It seems like they started high with going for the people who got millions. Then they started going for the people who got hundreds of thousands. Now, from what I've learned during my research, they're coming for the people who got the tens and 20,000s. And child, listen, I know, like I said, there is a website out there, and if you got time, you can literally just type in names of, if you know the person's first and last name, you can type in their name and it will come up and let you know if they got the PPP loan, what they filed it under, as far as like, I think like maybe the type of business, the dollar amount, like it tells you all of that. And I ain't gonna lie, I thought that because this had people had, got these loans so long ago, I thought these people were kind of in the clear because it was so many people who had gotten the loans, and my mindset was like, well, hell, they can't arrest everybody because it's like, I think everybody knows somebody who did it. I didn't participate in it because that I just wasn't on that. I did have like a LLC and thing at the time, but I didn't even go that route. I didn't even go that route. So a lot of people who did have an LLC is like, oh, well, I got a business. Let me go ahead and try to get these funds. So they thought they were in the clear because look how long ago, like most of these people don't have that money anymore. They don't have that money. There was this one lady they showed, child, she had gotten her butt done, her whole body done, went to Dubai, just went around the world, got her a couple of cars. She took advantage of the PPP, all the resources that was out there. It turned into like $3.5 million between her and maybe a couple of other people who that she was, I guess, in business with. But yes, they done rolled up on them folks and arrested them. So people are getting serious time. Like I said, the guy who collected 22,000 is facing 24 years. In my mind, I'm like, damn, they trying to give him a year for every $1,000 damn near. So any of you who have participated in that, what it's saying is that you may want to look into seeing how you can come up with the money to pay it back. Contact an attorney and have that attorney broker a deal with the feds to try to kind of get you off like that. Listen, that's all I got. Listen, I was up trying to do the research for you. I was up because there's so many people that this applies to. Like, I literally seen people crying, men and women. They're acknowledging what they did, but they just was like, listen, like, everybody else was doing it. And it was like one of those things to where they were like, legit, like, okay, I did it because, I mean, everybody else was doing it. So why not? And like, that's really what was happening. So many people were doing it and making it seem so easy. Like, I remember, like, just during those times, you like, just people talking about, like, it would be on, like, you would hear conversations with people talking about knowing people who got it, or on the internet, people was really cleaning up, like collecting it like it was an unemployment check. And they coming for them people too. They coming for them people too. The one that I said that they rolled up on a girl 5 years later, she had collected unemployment while still working a job. So that's why they rolled up on her. They rolled up on her 5 years. Yeah, she had collected maybe like 20 something $1,000 of unemployment money while still working a job. So they were able to determine that. Of course, on her documents and things when she filed for unemployment, she made it seem like, based off of how she answered the questions, that um, she answered as though she did not have a job. She didn't have an employer. So she was granted unemployment. They came to learn that she defrauded the system. So I think in 2022, they reached out to her like, yo, let me holla at you. Let me holla at you. She had a court date, I think they said in like 23, that she did not show up. They had been looking for this young lady. She looked like she was probably mid 20s. They had been looking for this young lady, and they finally found her. I don't know if somebody dry snitched on her and told her told the feds, where she lived. But they rode up on her at her house, knocked on the door, stood back, waited for her to come answer. They and they like, listen, they asked for her name, and she tried to play it initially like she wasn't the person. And they were like, well, is she here? And she was like, well, what is this about or whatever? But basically, yeah, she locked up. I don't know what kind of time they was giving her, but it was maybe about $29,000 maybe. I know it seemed like it was in the 20s. Like I looked into, it was so many cases, you all, that I was um that I learned about last night. So I'm trying to just reflect on all this, just the information that I was finding, because I know that when it comes to this PPP loan situation, it is going to impact a lot of people. And when that woman said that man at the bank said that the root of it is behind the government wanting to get this free labor out of people, I'm like, oh, MG. Like, I've heard that right now it's on the table for people who are arrested for the PPP loan to be sent over to those other prison systems that's been on the table, like the I think that El Salvador prison that president over there offered to allow for Trump, our country, to house people or send people to. Order was, I think it was that one. I think it was on the table for people to be going over there. So get your affairs in order. I will say that. My PSA for today was it hump day? Happy hump day. Get your affairs in order. If you did get any of these folks money, just try to look into seeing how you can, even if maybe some of you may feel like you need to try to apply for a personal loan, sell some things that you may have that may have some value that can maybe go towards uh, paying it. Because from my research, and I didn't even have to deep dive. They coming for you. They are coming. They are coming. And at the end of the day, I feel like everyone is going to know someone who got rolled up on behind the doggone PPP loans. Everybody got go know somebody who was impacted. Just like right now, I'm sure everybody knows somebody who who benefited from it. It was one, I don't know if it was in Florida, where it was a bunch of um, police officers, like people in law enforcement, who had gotten the PPP loans and things like that, and who had lost their jobs, and basically freedom was on the line. It's a lot of people, y'all. They rolling up on people right now. They definitely rolling up. So it ain't no myth. It ain't no myth. It's on the internet. You can do you a little quick Google search. Go to YouTube, type in, PPP loan arrests, and you'll see the information about, arrests, current arrests, and this warrant list that's supposedly out there. So I couldn't come across the list. I tried really hard because I was like, I want to be nosy. See, I knew I wasn't on no list, but I want to be nosy and see who was on that list. Because I was this woman in tears when she said somehow that list made its way to her and she seen her name on it. Like, can you imagine? You minding your own business, somebody float you this list, and you just like, oh, you just looking at it and you see your name on it, girl. Like, Your heart dropped. This woman's like, oh my God, and I just had a baby. Like, listen, all she doing is think about her freedom. She said, and then she said she got the PPP loan, and then she said she opened up a bank account, child, in a baby daddy name. I don't even know how she even did that, but she says I got the PPP loan, and I opened up a bank account in my baby daddy name. So y'all know she boohooing. She is boohooing. So yes, I'm like, damn, how you do that? How you opening up accounts in other people's names? I don't even know what type of criminal skills that take, to be opening up an account in somebody's name. So she had a lot of reasons, child, to be on Beyonce slash Diddy internet crying, cause I be crying too. But it's people, people that thought they was getting over. They see that they wasn't, and they learning just way later, and all of them are saying they don't have the money. That money was spent a long time ago. Like I say, it was one lady, she had a whole new body. She all in Dubai posing with the camels and everything, sitting in the sand, living her best life with her $1,200 shades. Now she locked up somewhere, and y'all know when you get locked up, them wigs ain't going with you. They taking them wigs, they taking them sew-ins. You not just like the locks. They cut your locks off. Oh, them wigs. You ain't looking like you was looking in them doggone Instagram pictures when they come and lock you up. No, no, no. At best, your mug shot will still have your wig on. I don't even know if they'll let you keep it on the mug shot. But when you um, get sentenced, oh, that's coming off. You're not keeping that because what they think you can hide something in your hair, right? You're not keeping that. You get bent over so they can check all cavities, and the wigs, the toupees, all of that is coming off. It's coming off. So people need to really start thinking things through before making a lot of these decisions that can impact your life forever. And most of these people, a lot of people got kids. So I got to thinking about the number of people who are likely to get rolled up on that are mothers, men that are fathers. You got families, and your children need you. What happens with these children if their parents are arrested for fraud? Because that's, this fraud is falling under fraud. So that's a federal crime. So with fraud, y'all know anything, but when you're dealing with federal crimes, federal is day for day. So it ain't no getting out early. If they give you 22 years, baby, they don't care if they're in there scrubbing the floors with a toothbrush because you feel like it needs to be done. There is no such thing as getting out early with good behavior. Your good behavior just gonna allow for you to get out when your 22 years, when your full term is up. That's what your good behavior gonna do. It ain't like with state where they would like cut it in half and all of that, or like you can do like programs, work a job in there. Some people work on, getting a GED. Like, no, it ain't nothing like that. From what I hear, Fed time is easier. It's not as harsh as the state prison, but it's a day for day type situation. So it's not like you got the option to kind of get out early like people who go to state. So, question. Which one would you choose to go? Would you choose to go to state where you got a chance to get out early and be with all the fools that did all the heinous crimes? Or would you choose to go to a federal prison where you dealing with people who dealt with white collar crimes? So what do you call that? Dangerous, like where it wasn't no assaults, things like that, where non-harm, where you ain't harm nobody like bodily and things like that. But child, you got to do day for day. Which one you want? Which one you want? Which one you want? Which one you want? Listen, life's about choices. Which one you want? I think I still just rather just go ahead and do that Fed. Listen, I can't be in there with them fools. I cannot be in there with them fools with tattoos all over the face. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. So you know what? I'm just gonna continue to be on the up and up. The nonviolent crimes. Thank you, Virginia. Yes, the nonviolent crimes. Feds for the nonviolent crimes, but you doing every day. You doing every day. But if you not in there with the fools, you in there with people who got PPP loans fraudulently, or people who, I guess, a bank robber. The bank robbers would go there. They didn't. If they didn't hurt anybody, they just held up a bank. I guess they, that's Fed. Listen, Linda. Listen. Life's about choice. Listen. I hope this is a motivator this morning for anybody who thinking about doing the absolute most today on any day to have a change of heart and to just go get you a third, fourth, or fifth job. Because who are locked up doing time right now, if they had the opportunity to do something, to do it a different way, they would. I'm just saying, who wouldn't? You would be a fool to say, nah, I'd still continue to want to gang bang. I still, want to hold up banks. Like, no, that ain't even, child, stop it. Stop it, I say, stop it. Stop it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's why it's important for us to keep it real with kids, to let them know what life will look like if you choose to go down your own path. Because y'all, like, let's keep it real. These are choices. These are choices that people make. And you got some people, a small percentage of people who are wrongfully convicted. Y'all seen where ASAP like, y'all ain't finna wrongfully convict me. Y'all know who my woman is. Y'all know who my baby mama is. How many of y'all think that ASAP Rocky truly got off because he was innocent versus him getting off because his baby mama is a billionaire? That's the question. I did not follow the trial. I watched probably like the first maybe day of it. And I ain't gonna lie, I thought he was gonna be found guilty because I learned that they had him on camera. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, hell, he on camera, so I don't know. I didn't know how he was finna beat that. He was on camera. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, shit, they got him on camera. The man who said he did it testifying. Like, to me, that's a recipe for you going to jail. But he was found innocent. He was found innocent. So somehow, even with camera footage and even the person who says he was the victim pointing the finger at him, it still wasn't enough to find him guilty. What y'all think about that? Do y'all think Rihanna had her hand in that? ASAP, I heard ASAP said him and Rihanna was gonna name their third child ASAP Joe, because the attorney name is Joe. He probably Italian. Joe. Joe said ASAP was one of his best friends. I said, hmm. he said Ace Joe said ASAP was one of his best friends, and he had a really good relationship with I made good timing today, y'all, to work. So I can talk to y'all, read the comments. He said ASAP, that attorney said ASAP is a good friend. He loves Rihanna and ASAP. And this was the winning. Y'all, this is what the attorney said. How much y'all think that attorney got paid? Let's talk about like that. Like, because Joe, ASAP, we gonna call him ASAP Joe. Because that's what ASAP Rocky called him at the press conference. He called him, did y'all catch? He called him ASAP Joe. And then I later seen some headlines saying ASAP Rocky said they was gonna name their third child ASAP Joe or something crazy. So, but how much money y'all think that he made, that attorney made? And do y'all think that Tory Lanez wished that he had ASAP Joe to represent him? Because he doing time. Tory didn't have the success that ASAP Rocky had. Do y'all think that Tory, like, damn it, I picked the wrong attorney? Do y'all think that man, he's so good to where he just gets you off? Or do you think that Rihanna played a part in the outcome of ASAP Rocky's case? Y'all let me know. Brolana said that the attorney looked Italian. Yeah, he looked Italian to me. Um, he says, I'm doing well, thank you, Lord. Virtue says, that's out my league. I know nothing about this convo. Yeah, so ASAP Rocky, he's a rapper and he's Rihanna's baby daddy. And a few years ago, I guess it was maybe 2 years ago, one of his old former friends accused him of, pulling a gun out on him, shooting him where it grazed him. He said it grazed him. And so, yeah, so ASAP was on trial for, I think it was an attempt to murder charge. And, but ASAP's argument was, well, it wasn't a real gun. It was what do you call that? A prop gun or something like that. So, and then come to find out the guy, I think his name was called ASAP Relly. So the ASAP name was like, they were like a crew. So it was ASAP and then whatever. So I think the guy who was testifying saying that ASAP had shot him. Um, Apparently, after everything, the whole ordeal went down, he went back and he allegedly picked up the gun cases. So people like, what are you doing that for? Like, why are you doing that? And so there was that. So I don't know because I didn't follow the trial like that to see what his explanation was as to with going to pick up those gun casing, because the police, when they went, to investigate, it was the shell. There was nothing there for them to pick up, I guess, to use for forensics. So all they had, I guess, with the trial, you had the camera footage. To me, from what I saw in the camera footage, I did see ASAP, he had a gun or something in his hand, but he's saying it wasn't real. So I guess on his defense, given that there was no gun casings and things found at the scene, I'm guessing that's how his team was able to say clearly it wasn't real because there was no shells found. But supposedly ASAP Relly, the guy who got shot, had went and picked up the shells. I don't know, child. It just sounds crazy. But the jury, it didn't take long for them to find ASAP Rocky innocent. He was facing 2 felony charges. And I think he was facing 25 years, 24, 25 years. And he did not want to plead because, a lot of times most time people take plea deals. So had he, pled guilty, I think he would have maybe gotten 3 years or less. Probably, how, remember I say state time, you do less. So he probably would have gotten less than 2 years. But he didn't want, from my understanding, from what my son was telling me, my 6-year-old son was telling me, he was like, ASAP Rocky did not want to plead guilty because he felt like it would impact his career. I guess with him pleading to that guilty charge, he just felt like, so he wanted to chance it on um, taking it to trial. And I ain't gonna lie, hold you. I thought it was crazy. I didn't think, hey, what's up, Laura? I didn't think that, given that there was camera footage and the guy who said he did it, the accuser, was testifying, I honestly did not think that ASAP Rocky would beat it on all level, like all charges. I thought like there would be something, he'd get some time, but he didn't. But some people believe he didn't because I don't have an opinion on it, when it comes to that. I'm going with, okay, the jury heard the evidence, and based off of what they heard, because they heard what I didn't hear, because I said I didn't follow it, I just knew very little of it. I'm gonna go with, based off of the evidence, they were like, it ain't adding up. Given that we have too many questions, let's just, it's innocent because it wasn't proven. I don't know if it had to be a situation proven beyond a reasonable doubt, but basically the people, what they heard, they were like, yeah, nah, he innocent, and that's that. So I'm going with that. But I have to listen and see, what some other people who actually had been following the case and see what their thoughts were. If they felt like, based off of the evidence, that, yeah, the jury got it right, or if they felt like, no, this man should have been found guilty for this reason, that reason. So I kind of got to kind of dig into that. But I like to listen to court cases. If I was, I believe if I was like a full time just content creator and I just did reviews on stuff, I would probably cover court cases. I really like to look at the different court cases and see the ins and outs because I find them to be very, very interesting. And they can be quite entertaining. They can be quite entertaining because sometimes, y'all, them attorneys be getting caught up in some mess. The attorneys be getting thrown out, they be getting arrested. Y'all remember the one with the young thug, the woman who was representing one of the people in the crew, and she was a white woman. She got arrested because apparently she had tipped off some people or somebody from one of her clients' crew members that the people were coming to roll up on. I guess the police was coming, so she kind of tipped them off, and she ended up in jail. I don't know whatever happened with her. She's still able to practice, but she was arrested for that. Then right now, the last I saw, there's another court case with the YNW Melly in Florida. He's on trial. He's pending trial. He's still in jail. I think it's been 6 years for murder of two friends. Allegedly, he murdered two friends. His attorney was arrested for quote unquote witness tampering. Female attorney. She was arrested. I seen her mugshot maybe like last week. So she was arrested for witness tampering. And I think his trial is slated for later this year, maybe in the fall. So last month when he went to court, the judge was asking him if he wanted to proceed with this attorney while I guess things were pending on her fate, on her freedom, or if he wanted to secure new counsel. So that was a decision he had to make. I don't know what decision they're making, but I guess he had to get new counsel if I'd have seen the woman mugshot because she got arrested. So I don't know if she was able to be out on bail. But y'all, these court cases be crazy. These court cases be crazy. So I like to, when I have time, I like to, listen in on the court cases, but it's just hard to follow them because you got to stay on top of them so you don't miss anything. So you kind of know the ins and out. And yeah, I like court cases. So ASAP Rocky, if y'all seen that clip yesterday, when they told him he was innocent, he turned to the right, hugged the white woman. I guess that's probably one of his attorneys, hugged her, which I ain't mad. She helped get him off, showed her love and appreciation, and then he dived over the stand or into the stands where the benches where Rihanna was sitting to give her a big hug because he was so happy. So that was a man who has a newfound appreciation clearly for his freedom, and that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But unfortunately, it's just sad how some people will come so close to losing their freedom and then they'll still do the absolute most. So I just hope that going forward, ASAP Rocky, he's a father. He got two kids now. He got Rihanna. We'll see if he wife her up. I don't think they're married, but I just hope that he do what he does the right thing by his family, by his children, because I think when I was reading his story, his father went to prison when he was a young boy. So as I was reading that, I'm like, wow, he's following that same steps, those same steps, like how like when he was a young boy, his daddy went to jail and his mom was raising him and his sister as a single parent, and now he's facing prison time and being away from his kids, like, and it's unfortunate that a lot of times that happens where there's what do you call that, the just the cycle. It's the cycle. So he was following the same cycle of his dad, his biological father. So I'm happy to hear that his story ended up being different than his dad's, where he ended up being found innocent and not having to do time and be away from his babies. He needs to be here to raise his children with Rihanna. They need to raise. They created those children together, and they need to raise those children together. Those children are very small, and they're boys. They need their father. They need their father. So I feel like he's going to move differently going forward. They say Rihanna's in the studio working on some music. She's supposed to be going on some type of tour this year. I don't think it's been announced, but she's supposed to be doing some type of tour this year. And ASAP Rocky, like he's a rapper, he's an artist too. Hopefully he'll get into doing what it is that he first became known for. Because to me, once he got with Rihanna, it's like he just became Rihanna baby daddy, Rihanna boo. So I would like to see both of them kind of get into their crafts. Him continue to build. I guess, I don't know if he's trying to be a fashion model. I don't know what he's trying to do. But hopefully he ain't trying to be no thug. Hopefully, he done hung his thug boots up. He done put the thug boots up in the closet, and he's now on his family man tip. Yeah, I hopefully for the sake of his freedom. For the sake of his freedom. So I thought that was nice. So yes, I definitely was happy to see that he was found innocent. How many of y'all heard Drake's new song, new album? Because I thought that he came out blazing and breaking records, and then until I learned that that was only for one day. He came out doing great things numbers wise, but it was short lived. It was just one day. Did any of you all buy Drake's and Party Next Door album that came out on Valentine's Day? I didn't even know he was releasing any music. I wonder, did he advertise or did they just drop it? I was listening to another content creator, and he's a big Drake fan, so he was in his feelings about everybody being into Kendrick Lamar. So he was just playing Drake music, and he was playing some music, and I'm like, okay, I like that. I ain't never heard this one. That sound like Drake. And that's when he said it was new music. And then he talked about how it broke a record, I think, for the most, like, I guess maybe sales. I don't know which platform it was, but it came out the gate like doing big numbers. So I'm like, okay, because, I like Drake's music. This whole thing with him and Kendrick, crazy. But prior to this whole beef with Drake and Kendrick, I wasn't familiar, to be honest, with like Kendrick music like that. I became kind of put on to Kendrick through the whole beef thing between him and Drake. Prior to that, I've always known who Drake was and been like a fan of his music. So even though they were going back and forth, it didn't stop that. I just really career would look like here in the US with the whole beef between him and Kendrick, with how welcomed he'd be in the USA going forward. Because ever since the beef, I hadn't known for him to come over to the USA to do any shows. So I wondered how that would go over, given that it seems like people largely in large was kind of team Kendrick versus team Drake. So I kind of wondered that. But I'm like, he got $1 billion. So when you got money like that, do you really need anybody to like you? Do you really need anybody to like you, when you worth all of that money? Because he's worth way more than Kendrick Lamar. So which one would you rather have? The popularity or the money? Because he definitely got the money. He definitely got the money. So, but for what I was hearing is that the album is being considered a flop. And I was just surprised because I've never known for anything Drake to put out to be considered that. Like everything I've ever heard of him, all his music to me has always been like a hit. There's no song I can think of that he has that I don't like. Of course, I'll have my one, my favorites, the ones I like more than others, but I can't think of one where I'm like, oh, that's trash. So the idea of him being a flop, it just, I don't know. It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. But they're saying, like, based off of like the sales, the base off of the sales of, what's going on, that yeah, it's not really a big hit like that, his album. And they're saying his album was made for was the I don't know. Some people say the album was made for the fellas because the ladies aren't checking for Drake like that. I guess they checking for Kendrick Lamar. But then it's a bunch of love songs. So then people like, okay, he clearly made the album for the ladies because it's love songs, and you ain't really got men running around listening to love songs like that. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I just wonder if like Drake's popularity would ever be what it was just all from a beef with just another rapper. Like it's just crazy how just getting into it verbally with somebody can really just impact just your career. Like I don't know, it's still insane to me like how it just big like everything kind of became just from those two rappers just not liking each other to where it had an impact on one of their careers in a negative way, because I truly believe that the beef impacted Drake's career in a negative way. In a negative way to where I just can't imagine him having great success coming over to the USA doing shows, coming to Atlanta where I live, going to Los Angeles, going to New York, even Texas. Like I can't see it because the way these people acting up and acting out and the way they get hyped anytime Kendrick play They Not Like Us, that's straight dissing Drake the entire time. He done it at the Grammys, at the Super Bowl. He got Taylor Swift singing it. He got Blue Ivy singing it. He got the Carter. He got Jay. Like literally, it's like Kendrick got the world singing a Drake hate song in unison. Like I ain't never seen nothing like it before. I ain't never seen nothing like it before. But that's where we at with it. That is where we are at with this. So I'm like, how the hell do you come back from this? How do you come back from this? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. It is cold, probably in the 40s, high 50s for today. Uh, a little bit of rain earlier this morning, but it was dry on my way into work, and I think it's going to be dry for the rest of the day. Laura says, "Is Kendrick deep down jealous of Drake?" I I I wouldn't rule it out. I think that when the beef probably started between Kendrick and Drake, it could have started based on low key hate because Drake is the bigger name at the time, was the bigger name, had the more mainstream success. So, I think Kendrick kind of felt the way about that and wanted to change that. So his way of changing that was to go hard in the pain and create this diss song. Brolena says Kendrick thinks Drake is the culture vulture. Drake is biracial. Drake's mother is white and his dad is black. But as they say, Kendrick Lamar, I think Kendrick Lamar's wife is also, well, she looks to be biracial. She looks like Drake to me. So is Kendrick Lamar's wife considered black? She looks like Drake to me. They both light skinned, look like they, black and white to me. So yeah, I would say I think that probably in the beginning it probably was rooted in some hate. Today, I don't know. I think Kendrick have made his point, so now he feel like he's kind of taken the throne and replaced Drake as far as with the popularity. Mission accomplished. Dr. J says, "Is it dark there? Are you in a parking deck? I live south of Atlanta and it's daylight here." Yes, I'm in a parking deck, Dr. J. I pulled up in a parking deck probably about 25 minutes ago. So, yeah, before it was light. You probably just joined my live, but yeah, I'm in a dark parking deck. But yes, it's a wrap, y'all. Thank you again for riding along with me, having these discussions in my in my car chronicles on just the news, the media, what's going on. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. I'm trying to stay on top of everything. It's so much. So on my long rides, on my long Atlanta commute, Um, I like to seize the opportunity to tap in with you all and just get a temperature check and see you all thoughts, or mostly you all hear my thoughts because I'm driving. I can't look at the comments, and I try to do a better job today with kind of staying focused, not looking so much at my phone or whatever. I feel like I did a pretty good job. And so, yes, drop a comment. Definitely let me know your thoughts on just things pertaining to the climate of just politics today. Um, just celebrity, like I said, ASAP Rocky was found innocent. Rihanna Rihanna was there for it. Her baby daddy will be home with her and her babies. And I would imagine she will have a lot of great things to talk about on the new album that's slated to come from what they say. And hopefully he'll drop an album too to just talk about his experience because remember, we came to initially know him as an artist. So it would be nice for them both, two people who became known to the world as artists, a singer and a rapper. It would be nice for them to um, come back on the scene, with their music and to just remind us of their musical talents. But yeah, so it's been real. Happy hump day, everyone. Take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the take care of yourselves. Thank you all for tapping in. Thank you again, Virtuous Woman, for modding this chat for me. It seemed like it was a lot better than yesterday. I know yesterday was crazy. It was bananas. I think it was probably like a lot of bots in there. Don't know what prompted that, but it was a lot of activity. It was over 23,000. Almost 20. That video shows over 24,000 views on that video. So it was a lot of activity yesterday that came in. So I do appreciate you and you working very, very hard. You and Yvonne McGowan, she held it down too for me. So I do thank both of you. I'm like, okay, I might need to work on getting some more mods, but it's hard for me to kind of pick mods because lately I've been going live driving, so I really can't see who's in there and try to make people mods. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Virtuous Woman, you know how to email me. Let me know if you got any issues, if you need help, whatever. Just send me an email if you got any name recommendations or whatever, as far as with if you're wanting me, anybody in particular that you want me to help to make a moderator to help you out because you're like a day one, so you'll know who would make sense for as far as if there's anyone in particular that you feel like I should probably make a mod because sometimes as we see it can get real crazy. It's just no rhyme or reason. You just never know when some days where it's just crazy bananas in the live, and then some days like today where it's calm and chill and we ain't got all them problems. we can woo-saw. We can woo-saw. So today was definitely one of those days. So let me know. Send me an email. And you all, yeah, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I love to see the comments. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will be coming back to you all. I got some things coming. I want to start kicking out some pre-records. I got my little snazzy new camera yesterday. So I want to start, playing around with that and yeah, reacting to some videos and just kicking out some pre-records. So it'll be kind of a combination on this channel of some lives as well as some pre-record content on just current events and the stuff that's just going down in these YouTube streets and the political streets. Just it's just a lot going down in the entertainment streets. It's a lot going down, and I'm really one to try to stay tapped into it all. I love just current events, just anything. I don't like to be boxed in, if you can tell. So I like to just, you know, be in the know on just as much as I can, And I bring that, with my knowledge and the information I learned, I bring it onto my channel to share with you to keep you in the know. Y'all see how it is? You see how it works? So drop a comment if there is anything in particular you'd like for me to tap more into. You can also, put that in the comments. I love comments. I will respond to the comments and I will explore those topics and things like that. You can also go to my back channel. Chic Speaks Live at gmail.com. I mean, my email. You can go to my back channel, see my email, but my email address is Chic Speaks Live at gmail.com. If you want to email me anything in particular as far as with certain things that you'd like to see me like react to, send that to me. And yes, send me those ideas. I will definitely look into them. Again, you can find my email in my back, my back channel. You know how you click on my name and see all my content and my information about my channel. You should see my email in there, and you should see that it Chic Speaks Live at gmail.com. I have two channels. This is Chic Speaks on it, and I also have a second channel, Chic Speaks. So you just remove the on it, Chic Speaks. So I got two channels. Follow me on both channels because you just don't know which one I may go live on. So, just so, what is your opinion on firing squad death penalty? What is your opinion on firing squad death penalty? Um, is that when they line you up and they just shoot you? I wouldn't say that I would give that one my vote. I'm not one that's against like death penalty with how we have here in the USA, where there are certain crimes where there's a death penalty. So I'm not opposed to death penalty, but the firing squad, I never gave thought of it. But if in this moment, I would say that's just not a form of a death penalty that I would vote for. That's a bit much. So I would say it's a no for me. But on that note, happy hump day. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, take care of yourselves and one another, and heavy on the take care of yourselves. I will catch you all in the next broadcast. Peace.